XRP 60-day countdown. That's right, folks. I know you're tired of countdowns and dates and predictions, but if you're here to make money and understand where this market's moving, I'm going to show you in today's update why I think that we are going to be rallying based off of rate cut expectations, and then also these ETFs for XRP, which will be going live in October. So if you take it out 60 days, we approach the final deadlines for these XRP ETFs. I didn't want to make you stick around and wait for the whole video to understand what I was talking about, but I encourage you to watch this full update to understand how this plays out, because just like we saw with Bitcoin in the lead up to its ETFs going live, Bitcoin nearly doubled. I'm expecting the same thing for XRP, which takes us right to that $6 to $7 target that I've been laying out for you guys. So if you can stand a time frame and a prediction and you can put on your big boy, big girl pants, let's get right to it. Now, I got to clarify, I didn't give a shout out to SHX last night when I titled last night's live show XRP outperforming everything, but I did say that I was talking about the top 10, and XRP is outperforming every single other crypto in the top 10, most in the top 100. But I do want to give a shout out to everybody in the Stronghold community, because you guys got yourselves a runner. This is one that I did just take profit on back in here. So I sold out a little bit too soon of Stronghold, but I love to see our community making money. It is up 750% since the election, and this is why I'm on the edge of my seat every single day, so excited about these opportunities for good utility assets. We're destroying the rest of the crypto space and everything else when it comes to investing opportunities. These good, solid utility assets that are, based in America, like Stronghold is, that number has been going up, and these are the best performers since the election. It's just not even close. So huge shout out to Stronghold. But just to show you what I was talking about, Bitcoin only up 75% since the election, Ethereum 85% since the election, XRP 510% since the election. I don't know where XLM's sitting at right now. XLM, where's it at? Up about 369% since the election. That's not bad. Not bad at all. I showed you guys Stronghold. Zebeki's doing pretty good too. Let me go find our Zebeki, up 447% since the election. We like that. That's very good. But if you go down to the rest of the top 10 cryptos, BNB's come back down, only up 50% since the election. Solana, big legger. Last night's update, I said 22. Now we're only 20% up since the election. Struggling big time. Tron, about 120%. Dogecoin, about 50. Oh, it popped up a little bit there. What is that? 55% or so, 57%. Congratulations. And Cardano, up 188%. Very good. But not even close to that 500% for XRP, and we still got a lot more on the way. Federal Reserve ends the program to increase bank scrutiny of crypto. So, love to see it. SEC Chair Paul Atkins also coming out this morning on Fox Business, laying out, we're fully going in, and even the Federal Reserve. And you're seeing these bankers writing their letters. They're worried about the Genius Act and certain loopholes that could provide yield for us peasants. God forbid we can earn a yield on our stablecoin. They just cannot have that. So they've been worried about that. But even the Federal Reserve now is getting on board. They're going to sunset their novel activities supervision program and return to monitoring banks' novel activities through their normal supervisory process. Basically, crypto's getting the same treatment now as every other financial asset, and we love to see it. Now, I wanted to give a warning here because the Trump brothers, Eric Trump, and you got Zack Wickoff from the World Liberty Financial team, we played the clip here with Liz Clayman. I want to give a shout out to Liz because Liz, she's had Brad on quite a bit on the show, Brad Growinghouse, right? And we really appreciate that. Liz was actually the one that referenced my tweet when she asked Brad Growinghouse about meeting with President Trump. And I remember watching that live and I was like, oh crap, I might have just got Brad in trouble. Hopefully not, because he kind of avoided it, like he didn't want to acknowledge that they had been meeting with the White House. But yeah, huge shout out to Liz, because in this segment, she notes how XRP has its own unique utility and real function, distinguishing it between other stablecoins in this USDG1, USD1, I guess is their stablecoin, right? And so I want to give a shout out because We used to be ignored, we used to be fudded, and now we're being kind of used as the example. Hey, here's XRP with real utility, real function. What are you guys doing differently? We are making incredible strides in progress in our coverage from the mainstream media. Now, when Jim Cramer tells us how to buy XRP, I'll be hitting the exits, but I think we still got some time before that comes. But in this segment, Zack Wickoff says that they are actually blowing out RLUSD, that their USD1 stablecoin's already up to a billion or 2 billion of market cap, and it's well ahead of RLUSD. But they need to be careful because just like I said, Brad Garlinghouse and Team Ripple can flip that switch with ease. You got a hidden road that's moving 3 trillion of prime brokerage services where they're going to be using RLUSD as collateral. So we're talking about flipping a couple switches and we're going to be right up there. And that's exactly what happened here with Vert Capital flipping the switch and adding 941 million in total RWA value on the XRP ledger. Now, of course, this is not RLUSD. RLUSD on the XRP ledger is still only at about 86 million. So still a long ways away. And a lot of RLUSD has been minted on Ethereum as well too. But RLUSD is going to play catch up here. It just takes a couple switches getting flipped and we'll be right up there. And Vert Capital is showing you how it gets done. I mean, this is a real flip of the switch moment, taking the XRP ledger RWA value well over a billion in RWAs now. Look at, I mean, this was an original post found here by Kevin Cage, from 175 million to 1.13 billion in RWA value. And this is just one company, Vert Capital. I don't even know if they're partnered up with Ripple, but you get some of Ripple partners flipping switches. You get Ripple. They have the opportunity here to move trillions of value and flow to the XRP ledger and use RLUSD for part of that. So it's not going to take much for them to play catch up. But like I said, I love the healthy competition, whether it be World Liberty Financial and the Trump brothers pushing their stuff, or whether it be Ripple over here. It's all expanding US dollar dominance, which is what we're here to do. Now, speaking of flipping the switch, I had my guy add the XRP logo hat last night. So we flipped the switch on that one. I wanted to show you guys it's here on ZachRector.com/shop. It's linked up down below in the description of this video, but that is the black XRP hat. And we actually said in last night's live show, anybody that got in a merch order during last night's show, we're going to send you a free hat as well. And so we're giving away over 50 of these hats with all of the orders that came in last night, spreading the good word about XRP. This is what we do, but that's all linked up down below if you guys need some XRP family merch. Let's take it to the topic of discussion here, which is the 60-day countdown. Spot Ethereum and Bitcoin ETFs combined for 11.5 billion in trading volume yesterday. For context, that's about the same volume as Apple stock. Once again, Bitcoin and Ethereum are the only ones in town. Once you have additional options, you know where this goes. And we are already seeing that since July, we have over $1.5 billion more of inflows coming into the Ethereum ETFs versus the Bitcoin ETFs. Once XRP is live, you want to talk about flipping a switch and opening up the floodgates of inflows, we're going to be having ourselves a good time. Now, it's not just the XRP asset that's being suppressed. Now, remember, this is the last way that they can suppress XRP. This is it. The only way that they have left to suppress XRP is by holding out our ETFs. But they can only do it for so long, and they're also doing it to Solana too, to be fair. It's not just XRP. Yesterday, the SEC delays their decision on the Bitwise 21 shares and a couple other ETFs for Solana. They were all extended out, and the new deadline is now October 16th, 2025. Now, this brings me to the title of today's video, XRP 60-day countdown. No clickbait. No, I mean, I do get a little bit hyped because we're going to pump in the expectation of rate cuts and in anticipation of these ETFs going live. It's going to be a buy the rumor, sell the news event. I'm telling you right now, we are going to go higher. If you're losing faith and conviction, what are you talking about? Institutions can't even get exposure through ETFs yet, and you want to bail? What are you doing? Let's check it real quick. Okay, what are we thinking here? Because it's just simple math. When this is opened up and available, you get billions of inflows, and we've shown you what that's going to do on our multiplier. We're going to double-digit XRP eventually, but I'm looking for that $6 to $7 XRP coming in the next 60 days. Right? Now, I've laid out a prediction of September 7th. I think that you could see us reaching up to those levels by then, but we're looking at the middle of October. These ETFs for XRP, Solana, and the rest will be going live. Here's the deadlines. I asked Grok, what are the deadlines for the spot XRP ETFs? Grayscale, final decision, October 18th, 21 shares, October 19th. Bitwise is the 20th, Canary Capital, Wisdom Tree, CoinShares, Franklin Templeton, all on October 24th and 25th. And I'm expecting the SEC to approve the XRP ETFs at the same time that they approve Solana and any other, major large cap spot ETFs that are set to go live. I think that they are all going to be approved in the middle of October, which brings us to about a 60-day countdown, 61, 62. I think that we're going to be looking at October 15th, 16th. That's when these are going to go live 100%. By the way, there's no chance that these get delayed or rejected. There's just no chance. 100% the XRP ETFs will be going live. And so how does markets work? When people know that something's coming, right? We buy the rumor, sell the news. That's what the market's going to do, just like the market did with Bitcoin. Remember in October of 2023, for those of you guys that were around in crypto, you probably remember when the fake news started to spread that the BlackRock Bitcoin ETF had been approved. And at the time, Bitcoin was at about 23 to 25,000, I believe. And Bitcoin doubled based off the fake news and the expectation that the ETFs were going to go live. So even though it was fake news in October and the ETFs had not been approved, everybody started to get excited about the ETFs going live. In between October and January, Bitcoin ran up to 49,000. Now, if an asset like Bitcoin could double in anticipation of the ETFs going live, why couldn't XRP double or maybe even do better in anticipation of the ETFs going live? So I wanted to bring everybody's attention to the 60-day countdown that we are now at. Okay, it's here. So I hope that everybody enjoys your Friday, has a great weekend. We're going to be hopping on a crypto estate planning call with Mark Kohler. Going to be an incredibly valuable session. That's going to be taking place here in a couple hours at 3 p.m. Eastern. It's not too late to join us. If you get into the Discord group, the link is shared right up in there to join us on Zoom. You have a couple hours to join us, or if you join late, you can still watch the recording. Going to be a very, very valuable session. And then we're getting ready here because the timeline is very clear. We know what's going to happen 100%. As I always say, invest in the inevitable. We know what's going to happen 100%. Get yourself positioned. I got all my ducks in a row, and now we watch this thing fly. The expectation of XRP doubling up from $3 to $6, easily done. And I think that you might even stretch up to $7 or $8. So stay locked in with us. Hope everybody has a great Friday. On the way out, if you could like this video, if you need a new XRP family merch hat, we got you covered. ZachRector.com for all of our resources. We'll see you in the next one. God bless. I am your host, Zach Rector. I really appreciate all of the love and support. If you want to support the channel, just remember that you can start by smashing that thumbs up for me, sharing this content far and wide, and everything else is at my website.